I just came out of a consultation, and I would like to talk to you about a mistake that I see being made frequently, and that I would like to warn you about so that if you make it, you can change it. Let's see. Showing weakness to others on a romantic emotional level is not a good idea. I understand the mechanism. It's true that when we show vulnerability, we generate a certain empathy from the other person. And this can be demonstrated by leaning towards being more affectionate. It's true that there is a type of person who fits the savior profile, who may indeed feel more attracted when they see a more fragile or vulnerable profile, but it's also a profile that is very much cannon fodder. For manipulative people or those who want to take advantage of you as well, when they see someone who seems more helpless, they say, oh, this person, I am aware that by giving very little, I can make them become very attached to me and then be willing to endure a lot. But in general terms, showing ourselves excessively vulnerable when we meet someone from scratch or when we go on a date, or believing that the way to attract the other's affection is through our fragility. It's not a good idea. I have to understand one thing. When you meet someone, why do you want this person to be with you? Do you want them to be with you because they find you incredible? When you see yourself through their eyes, you perceive yourself as a magnetic, attractive person who is almost irresistible, right? Or do you want them to be with you because you are special, right? Compared to the rest? Or do you want someone to be with you because it seems like they are really lacking affection, love, that they are sad, that they are not well, and are willing to latch on to the first person who will give them affection? Because when we meet someone from scratch and start talking about how bad we feel, the bad streak we're going through in terms of relationships, like the people we meet only take advantage of us, like it seems no one wants to love us. The image we convey to the other person, even if we don't do it deliberately, is a bit like, hey, I'm at a point where I would take affection from anyone. That is to say, without realizing it, even though we might do it a bit more to evoke empathy, that please treat me well, don't hurt me. I want to be loved. The message is more like, I would let myself be loved by anyone, or I would want anyone who wants to love me, right? As long as you give me affection, I'm satisfied. And the other person stops feeling special, stops feeling unique. And beyond that, there's a part that is more animalistic, right? And it's that humans, who are also animals, can't help but take advantage when they see weakness. That's how it is, right? So, people who seem weak to us in our own view, rather than awakening our maturity and protective instinct, unless we are that savior type, a somewhat arrogant side will emerge, a side that makes us feel superior. And usually people who go around in a weak mode, like, please don't hurt me, end up driving others crazy. On the contrary, they receive a much less favorable treatment than people usually give to others, paradoxically. So, really, I strongly encourage you not to go around meeting someone for the first time and show vulnerability. In general, I would tell you, don't talk about your bad experiences, especially not if you want to emphasize that things always go wrong for you, that you are the victim. I always get left. I always did end up being deceived, always this or that, because humans also tend to form opinions based on what others think. This again is unconscious, meaning, for example, if I meet someone and they don't seem the most attractive to me, I might find them cute and that's it. But suddenly I find out that this person, wow, is someone who attracts a lot of people, who has a lot of admirers. Automatically, even if I don't want to, I will start to see that person as more attractive. Because we can't avoid it. The collective opinion influences us. That's why if, for example, there's an actor or actress I never noticed because they aren't my type physically, or I've seen them play characters that weren't attractive, But suddenly I watch a series, a character whose personality is attractive and is perceived as very attractive by others. I start to see that person differently. So, for example, if I know or you tell me that you are a person who has had favorable experiences, that you are the one who even has reservations when it comes to choosing someone, right? Which makes me understand that you have options. All that discourse resonates with me. It makes an impression on me. Unfortunately, the opposite discourse also does. If I'm there with you and you're telling me that no one wants to stay with you, that people deceive you, or that it seems cruel, in the end I think, why would I stay with someone whom others don't want to stay with? I repeat, as cruel as it may sound, it's a reality. And I know that maybe you tell all that in the hope that by explaining all this, the other person might treat you more kindly, have more empathy, in the hope that maybe you'll be the one who can see in me what others seem not to, or at least as if subtly asking, hey, don't hurt me, I'm already tired of bad experiences, it's my turn. For a good experience, okay, but don't discuss that with that person. Talk about that with a good friend, with your psychologist, with your mother, with whoever you want, but not with that person. Because everything you're saying to them is going to affect them. So it's the opposite. That is to say, the more damaged you have come out, the more you should learn to take care of yourself. And the best way to take care of yourself is not to open up so quickly, not to show yourself so vulnerable. But in general, I repeat, I do not recommend going around giving speeches where we talk about how negative our love life has been, the harm that has been done to us, those people who have deceived us, how I have already lost trust in those people who come along. No, I don't believe in any man, they are all the same. But what are you doing? So why are you going on the date? I mean, men criticize this a lot. The woman who thinks all men are the worst but still meets one for a date is heavily criticized, and rightly so. And I completely agree with them. If the situation seems so bad to you, don't meet up. But if you do meet up and feel that way, don't say it. It's actually in bad taste, it's even rude, it's truly impolite. I mean, I think you need to convey a positive, favorable attitude. If you've had bad experiences, I'm not saying you should lie, right? But omit this a bit. Don't emphasize it. Simply like, how has love been for you? Well, good, let's see. Obviously, just like you can give a little nod, right? Well, I haven't found my person yet. That's it, you're not lying. But you're not dwelling on your romantic misery. So, really, in general, I would completely leave out the idea of meeting someone criticizing couples. Another thing is if later on, with that person, you move to another level and become a couple, then you share your life stories. It's different, it has nothing to do with it. At that point, if you have things stored up or things you want to share with that person, that's the moment. But at first, don't criticize other couples, just like when you speak positively about other people. All that positive discourse, the other person attributes it to you in their mind. That's why one of the things you can do to appear more attractive is to speak well of others, to focus on the good things others have and speak well of them. Well, when you sit in front of someone and criticize and recount the terrible things that partner did to you, which is horrible, all of that is a negative. The other person also attributes it to you, their mind, unintentionally. And you create an energy and an atmosphere that is not pleasant. And when I meet with someone, what I want is to feel good. I want to fill myself with positive emotions. I don't want you to drain my energy by criticizing your ex-partner to me. And besides, a part of me thinks, if I just met you and you're here talking to me about things that are ultimately intimate couple matters, tomorrow, if things don't go well between you and me, or you think they haven't gone well, you're going to sit at a table with someone else, with another stranger, to speak badly about me. And I don't like that either. Not to mention that many people who are very experienced in love know that typically the toxic person is the one who goes around saying all their partners were crazy, that all their partners. It's like a red flag. There are many people who are already very experienced and interpret this as a red flag. But let's leave it as a red flag. As I said, you don't liven up the evening. When you're getting to know someone, you want to provide that person a pleasant space, a safe space. So it's best to arrive and let the other person talk more. Let them express themselves. Listen more than you speak. Don't judge. Be openly pleasant. And when you talk about yourself, especially at the beginning, it's not about lying, but rather emphasizing the good things in life. And above all, emphasize, as I said before, how disappointing love turns out to be. The little faith you have in saying something like, I think this is going to go wrong. Come on, I know it. I've met with you because between watching TV and meeting with you, well, okay. Honestly, do you think that's the attitude? Maybe I'm taking this to the extreme, right? Maybe you laugh and say, Amanda, I don't act like that. But maybe you don't realize it and sometimes you have fallen into which is another thing I want to warn about. And I see this more in women than in men. They meet the guy, they're attracted to him, things are going well, they're cheerful, fun, the date flows wonderfully, but the moment they start developing feelings, they feel vulnerable, and a tendency emerges in them to want to look for, I don't know, that hero, right? It's a somewhat almost childish vision, isn't it? Expecting that from now on, he will protect me, take care of me, and then they go from being those cheerful and attractive girls, that woman who goes through life independently well, like, to bringing up a lot of things that happened to her, seeking for him to fix them, trying to evoke pity, seeking protection. I think it's more about seeking protection. But they really don't realize that in that search for protection, in that attempt to make him pay more attention to them, to take care of them, that this isn't a series or a movie, they stop being that cheerful, attractive, and independent person who attracted them. And instead of managing to garner more interest or more commitment, it's the opposite, right? The guy gets a bit deflated. Because I've read so many things that I've been left with my hands on my head, right? From, oh, how are you? How are you doing? Today I had a nightmare. Such and such happened to me. I have no idea what. And you say, my goodness, you're like Maria Pupitas. And really, the curious thing is that this girl isn't like that, not with others. Simply with... He hasn't realized and has started to develop that role in an attempt to attract him more, without realizing that it's pushing him away. But anyway, I don't want to stray from the main idea. The main idea is that I'm telling you that weakness in love and in most areas of life doesn't work. It's not a shield. It doesn't generate more sympathy. You don't want the other person to feel pity or sympathy for you. That's why showing weakness is not advisable at any stage of the relationship. Perhaps the stage where you can open up and be more vulnerable is once you already have a stable relationship with someone. And if you go through an obstacle or a really complicated situation, then yes, you rely on the support and open up to your partner. Or if your partner does something that hurts you, then yes. But aside from that, when getting to know someone, when someone shows us some rejection, when someone leaves us, when giving, the less weakness you show, the better. Honestly, it doesn't matter what you feel like saying here. Sometimes you need to maintain a certain facade, and it's preferable to be respected. That is, the more confidence you can show in yourself, in your life, the more personal satisfaction you can reflect, the more it's like, no, look, I know what I want, I know my worth, I'm happy with what I have. I'm not coming damaged, fragile, and half broken from other relationships. I'm not anxious to meet them. No, no, no. So really, it's just no, not at any point. Honestly, I recommend that if you fall into this, if you realize that you are like this, that sometimes you arrive, or when you see that things start to go wrong, or when you begin to feel more, you fall into this. Stop doing it. Really stop doing it. Remember this. You want the other person not to feel needed. You want the other to feel chosen. And you must also allow the other person to choose you freely. And it's not just because they choose you freely. It's because, I repeat, it's not attractive. It pushes others away. Well, I hope the idea has been understood well. I hope I haven't offended anyone, really. Whenever I say things, it's never to make you feel bad about yourself. It's always in favor of you saying, well then. Maybe it clicks for me. Maybe if I see myself reflected, I give it a thought, change it, and use it to improve my love life. If you liked it, if it was helpful and you haven't subscribed yet, of course, I invite you to do so, to hit the bell, because I would love for us to see each other again very soon. And until then, as always, I send you a big kiss.